Didn't realize I needed to do that. And so welcome to Sitar Arts Center. And we're going to be testing a lot of things today. I am looking over in the chat right now. I won't be able to see too much of that, frankly, without my glasses. But I just wanted to welcome all of you here today. I have decided to bring in the laptop really close because I know that many of you have really been enjoying my videos. And the way I've been doing all of those videos that I've been putting on Facebook. Are we going, Marco? Okay, good. The way I've been doing those on Facebook is just putting my phone. Yes, I love Star Wars and I love Baby Yoda. I've been putting my phone right here and recording my hands. And so many people said that they really enjoyed seeing my hands. So as we were setting up for today, we decided to kind of make this more intimate, almost like you're here watching me practice. And so this is my first ever virtual concert, but my 16th annual one here at Sitar Arts Center in downtown Washington, D.C. And I love Sitar Arts Center. This is my happy place. I can have had the worst day at work or be stressed because of the commute, and then I walk in the door here and it is just a bastion of happiness, and it is a refuge, frankly. It's a refuge for a lot of kids. Gets them off of the streets perhaps after school. It gives them a safe place to learn, a safe place where they are respected. They receive nutritious snacks. They and all their siblings can receive nutritious snacks. I think about 80% of Sitar's students live below the poverty line. So the community definitely serves the underserved here, let's put it that way. And I just feel so strongly in what they do here. I had always said growing up that I knew my parents made sacrifices for me. I knew that my piano lessons cost a lot of money, and all my performance outfits, and all the time they spent driving me to competitions and all of that. And I knew I'd always want to give back someday. And so when I discovered Sitar Arts Center back in 2000, yeah, it was 2005. Yep, that's when I was first here. I thought, great, I have found a place where I can give back to other families whose parents want to give the same opportunities to their kids that my parents gave to me. But maybe those parents just need a little bit of help to do it. And who better to help than me? And there are 99 other volunteers as well. So it is a wonderful place. A little bit about Sitar Arts Center is that their overhead is about $1,000 per student per semester. And those students, even during COVID, even though the center has not been open for a year, they are still working remotely and teaching remotely. And the volunteers, we are on Discord, we are on Zoom, and we are still having lessons every week, and we've been doing that since last spring. So I really applaud Sitar, and that's just a little bit of a background as to why I am so passionate about this place. And so I was really sad over the last year that I couldn't be in here. I miss the Steinway. For those of you who don't know, Steinways are like the BMW or the Mercedes, if you will, of the piano world. This is a Steinway B. And Marco, who you can't see because he's right behind the camera, Marco has it all set up and he's been working on the sound. We have microphones, we have various microphones. And new, this is like an $80,000 to $100,000 machine. And they truly are machines. Think about driving an $80,000 to $100,000 car. Well, that's how I feel every time I get to sit here. And so not being able to be on this machine, on this instrument for the last year was really hard. So back in February, I worked with Sitar staff, and they decided that it would be a special treat. They have not opened to any other volunteers coming in. They have not had any in-person events in a year. And we decided, hey, I'm going to try to do a virtual concert so I can still give back to Sitar. And let's be honest, I miss the Steinway, so benefits me too. And I was just wondering how my musculature would do. And let me tell you guys, my arms are sore. They're sore just starting today, so we'll see how this goes. I figured I would have a lecture performance today. I'm going to be doing 12 pieces. I can't believe I chose that many. And I'm going to try to explain a little bit about each piece to all of you so that perhaps they'd be a bit more meaningful, or it can give you something to think about while you're playing. I chose a lot of soothing music because I think we all just need we need something happy during everything we're going through lately. So why not just play something soothing and happy? I knew that's what I wanted to hear, and so I hope that's what all of you would like to hear. I would like to welcome everyone. We have people on many, many continents who are logged in right now, and we have people in every time zone in the US. I specifically want to say hi to both of my brothers and their families who are out in Central Time, and my cousin Kimber, who's out in Mountain Time, my friend Lisa and others who are out on the West Coast. And then I have Australians logged in. It's like 1 in the morning there. Michelle and Meredith, thank you guys so much for logging in. I'm gonna keep going west around the world. We have the Prabhus in Mumbai, India. Hi guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm continuing going west, and I'm going next to Spain, to Barcelona, or as they say there, Barcelona. I want to say hi to Adrian and Sean in Barcelona. And then just north from there in Geneva and Frankfurt, I want to say hi. I think she's actually in Frankfurt right now, although she lives in Geneva. I want to say hi to Allison. And I think I have some friends in London too, but not confirmed. And then last but not least, finishing my tour around the world, I want to say hi to my friend Amy up in Toronto. And then of course, hello to everyone here in the US. I just think, lemonade out of lemons, right? Maybe not everyone can be here in person, but so many of you have wanted to hear me over the years and you haven't been able to, and now you can. So I just hope I do a good job and don't mess up too loud. I started practicing in here about 5 weeks ago. I've been coming 2 to 3 times a week for an hour or 2 at a time. Kind of like being a marathon runner, you have the musculature, but you have to get it back. You might be a little sore. Well, that's kind of like how I've been. I have the musculature in my arms, but because I couldn't practice for close to a year, I've just been getting that musculature back. So today won't be perfect, but the older I've been getting, the more I realize I don't have to be perfect all the time. I recall when I was in college, I was in a competition, and I was really mad because I'd made 2 loud mistakes. And the judge said to me afterwards, "You just played for 15 minutes, I'd done a concerto." She goes, "How many thousands of notes did you just get right? And you're beating yourself up over 3 that were wrong?" I've told that story to my students many of times to help with their performance anxiety, but I had not given that level of grace to myself. And so I finally started realizing, you're gonna do your best, Beth. You're gonna do your best for the kids, but it may not be perfect, but that's okay. So anyway, I am gonna go ahead and get started. I figured people might need some time to get logged in, so that's why I wanted to chit-chat for a little while. Also, I do have my phone right here. It's on silent. If any of you have direct questions about a piece and you want to text me, I'll see that really fast. I hope it's not too distracting if I check that between pieces, but I thought that would be a good way for me to get direct questions quickly. So, to begin, I'm going to start with the Goldberg Variations, the aria from the Goldberg Variations by J.S. Bach. These are pretty famous, although I had never learned them. I taught this to myself maybe a decade ago. Oh, and by the way, I think Paige was going to put in the comments all of my pieces for today. So you'll be able to look them up. You can look them up on YouTube. If anybody wants to share extra links, if you found something interesting, or if you want to expand on what I'm discussing about a piece, by all means, please be active in the chat. The historical background on this piece varies, but the accepted story of why they're called the Goldberg Variations is that there was a Russian count, Count Kaiserlink. He was the Russian ambassador first to Dresden and then to the Holy Roman Emperor. And he was an insomniac. And because he was a count and very wealthy, he had his own court pianist. That court pianist's name was Mr. Goldberg. I forget Mr. Goldberg's first name. So as the legend goes, again, historians argue on this, is that to help him sleep at night, Count Kaiserlink would say, "Goldberg, play my variations." So this is the aria, which is the first piece of the 30. It's an aria and 30 variations. I'm not playing the 30 variations. We'd be here a few hours if I did that. But this is the opening piece of that set. And quite frankly, it will be the most difficult thing I will play today. Well, that and the Debussy. The Debussy is going to be a bear. But they're difficult for different reasons. This was written and composed to be performed on a harpsichord. And we don't really play on harpsichords anymore. We play on, modern day pianos. So purists would say don't use a pedal. But I think it sounds better with a pedal. Specifically because I have to do so much trilling between my fingers. And I know we have a lot of kids who are listening in today. Just try wiggling your fingers. Specifically, try wiggling your third and fourth fingers, and then your fourth and fifth fingers. You'll see it's kind of hard. And that's because they share the same musculature, the same tendons in there. So having control here is harder than having control here. Well, this piece is all about doing fast little trills, little notes back and forth, like that, between the smaller fingers that are harder to control. So that's what makes it difficult, as well as trying to use the pedal, which I know you can't see, so that doesn't sound too muddy or too cloudy. So with that, I'll get started with my first piece, and I hope you will enjoy. That piece is also hard because I had to put down the soft pedal at the end. I wanted everything to sound good. The melody was on my right hand. I wanted all my notes to go down at the same time, and thankfully it did. What I didn't want was, and I wanted quiet, which is what I got. So success. So that is the aria. Next, we have a piece. We have Claire de Lune. I don't know. We worked really hard on the lighting in here, so it's good for me, but I don't know if it's good for showing you this. I know that my niece Claire is listening in. I had never learned this piece in my life because, quite frankly, I don't like learning pieces that people know, because then when you screw up, people know. So all my life, I played really weird, obscure stuff. So when I screwed up, nobody would know except for my teacher and me. Seriously, that was my whole MO growing up. But when Claire was born, I thought, the time has come. I need to learn Clair de Lune, which is a very famous piece by Debussy. And it's hard. And so I learned, and so Claire is turning 13 this summer. And so Claire lives in a different time zone, and I can't see you very often, sweetheart. I can't be there every day, so I can't give you my time in that way, but I can give you my time this way. So I have spent lots of hours trying to relearn this for you. It may not be perfect, but I know you spend lots of hours practicing and practicing all of your dance. So as you've been practicing for your recent dance competition, sweetheart, I've been practicing this, trying to get it back. And I last learned it 13 years ago because you're turning 13 this summer. This piece is beautiful. I really hope that you all will enjoy it. It is difficult in a different way from the aria, because that one, you maybe only heard 3 or 4 notes at one time between my two hands. It was very open. The difficulty there was that because it was open, I had to make everything very accurate. Well, here, you may hear 7 or 8 notes at the same time, which means, I'm having 7 to 8 fingers all playing at the same time. And it's very dense and it's very heavy. And if you get just one of those notes wrong, it can make the whole chord sound wrong. Also, the composer, Debussy, has written very specifically which of those 8 notes he wants you to highlight. And usually, once again, it is the 2 weakest and smallest fingers. So I'm having to make all my other notes quieter to bring out those important notes that Debussy has told me are important. So I really love this piece, and I will hope I will do it justice. And so Claire, I know your birthday's not for another few months, but this is part of your early birthday gift, and I hope you will like it. made it. I realized one of the things that I did to myself unintentionally with this performance is that every piece is in a different key. Now what that means for those of you who are not musicians, this piece is mostly with 5 flats, which means every time I look at this white key, this D key, I have to play it down in my brain. Every time I see the E key, I have to make it down in my brain to the flat. Well, the piece I'm going to do next is 3 sharps. So now, on this next piece, every time I see those same notes, even though 5 minutes ago I was playing all of them down, now I have to play them all up. And makes your brain tired after a while. So the next piece I'm going to play is called How Fair This Spot. And it is by Rachmaninoff. And I don't know about you guys, my eyes are killing me. I'm watering. Here in DC, it is pollen season, and we haven't had rain in weeks. So pardon me, you guys, I got to just let my eyes water for a minute. I'm being under all these lights. This piece was written by Rachmaninoff on his honeymoon for his new bride, who was a soprano. They went on a 3-month honeymoon, as you do, as you do. And while they toured all over Europe on their 3-month honeymoon in 1902, he wrote this piece for his wife. So typically, and I believe that my graduate school friends Jennifer and Eileen are tuned in, and they are mezzo-sopranos. This is a very popular piece for sopranos to play, or to sing with accompaniment. Well, this is a piano version, so I have to play the vocalist, the soprano's part, once again, where top fingers, and as well as the piano accompaniment. And I really have to thank my friend Stephen Marquette and his dad, who I've never met. His father is a pianist, and he gave this music to Stephen a few years ago and said, well, if your friend's a pianist, have her play this, in so many words. And I just thought it was really beautiful. And going in the theme of relaxation music today, I thought I should play this. It is only 3 pages, but it's very dense and it's very tricky. And one of the things that goes through my brain the entire time is that this is what we call 2s against 3s. Hey everybody! I think we're back. I'm sorry for the little glitch. Could you guys let me know in the comments if indeed you can see me and hear me? Sorry for that. We had some kind of a Zoom glitch. They can? Okay, good. Okay, good. Yes, I see your comments now. All right. So I don't know how much I was saying before, but this piece is by Rachmaninoff. I don't know how much before I cut off. What makes it difficult is that it's triplets against 8th notes, which we call 2s against 3s. And the way Mrs. Schwemmer taught me in 7th grade in Huntsville, Alabama, is to think not difficult. So both hands, not difficult. You end up getting the triplets out of one hand and the 8th notes out of another hand. Hand to God, this entire piece, the entire 3 pages, I'm going, not difficult, not difficult, not difficult, not difficult. I've been doing that since I was 13 because of Mrs. Schwemmer. And this piece, it's pretty much the right hand doing the 8th notes because that would be where the soprano would be singing. And then my left hand and everything else are doing the triplets. Rachmaninoff had huge hands. I have kid hands. I wear kid-size large gloves. Teeny tiny hands. So my teeny tiny hands are trying to do the work of a soprano and a pianist and all the not difficult between 2 hands. So anyway, I like this piece because it's a challenge. And again, it may not be perfect, but I like it and I think it's beautiful. And I've really tried to bring out the soprano in my right hand. So hopefully you will hear that melody of where the soprano would have been singing. And thank you to Stephen and his dad for this piece. enjoy that. I wanted to take a minute while I'm thinking about it and thank all of my colleagues from work who are tuned in today. I know that many of you are going to join in, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. Okay, I don't even know what I have next on my list, you guys. Somebody want to tell me? I think maybe I'll go with Pride and Prejudice next, because I know a lot of people have been excited for that one. Oh no, wait, I'm doing Scriabin next. Why? Because I'm doing the Russians all together. Okay, so Scriabin, Alexander Scriabin, was a friend of Rachmaninoff. They were at school together in Russia in the 1880s. Apparently, Rachmaninoff was a total slacker. He was always late to class. He was just brilliant and gifted, but always late. Didn't really care what was going on. Whereas Scriabin and Rimsky-Korsakov were at the studio, they were always practicing and they were always trying to help their buddy along. So Scriabin mercifully had small hands for a man. And so I can usually play Scriabin's pieces pretty well. There's not a lot of information on this. This is basically just, he called these preludes or songs. It is a suite, I think, of about 7 pieces. And I think this is the third one in that group. And so with that, I just think it's beautiful. Again, today's about playing beautiful, relaxing music. And so I hope that you will enjoy it. And it's pretty short. I remember what I wanted to say about this piece. I first learned this in honor of my niece Grace, who is Claire's little sister. And I thought this was a very sweet piece. It does say to play it dolce, which is Italian for sweet. And I just thought it sounded like just a beautiful little baby girl with a couple of cries in there. There are a few chords that are a little dissonant, maybe when she's a little upset. And so that's what I wanted to say. So Gracie, that was for you. Okay, next on the list after my Russians. Ooh, Max Richter, The Family. I did that on purpose because I knew my hands were going to need a break. So I don't know how many of you know about the German composer Max Richter. He is a modern composer. He writes for a lot of soundtracks. I first encountered him because he scored Nosedive, the really famous episode from Black Mirror. And then I learned he had also done the music for Ad Astra, for The Leftovers, for so many famous movies, and at least movies I like. And so I have not seen this movie. It's called Lore. For the main character's name is Hannah Lore. She's German. And so I just thought that this was an important piece to play because we've all been stuck at home with our families for a year. And this piece is about 5 German siblings escaping the Nazis, running through Germany and running through the mountains. So once this piece starts, it never stops. It is a repeated, constant quarter note in the left hand that never begins. And so that is supposed to sound like forward motion, constant motion, so that you are experiencing the family constantly moving. And so if you were to watch the movie, you would see that this accompanies the portions of the movie where they're always walking. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but that's what I've been told when I was researching this. So for all of you who have been at home with your families for the whole year, I give you the family. There. That was the family. I like that one because it is a challenge to bring out that melody. There's all this stuff going on down here. Not so exciting, right? But the melody is up here. And so I was trying my best, once again, to voice that, to bring out that while I was playing. So instead of parks me to do that, I was trying to do it, with some artistry. And so that's what I try to teach my students. Speaking of students, hi Sophia. I know you're logged in, and I believe that my students, Jason and James, are also logged in too. Can I just give Sophia a shout out, everybody? She's probably at home dying right now that I'm doing this. But Sophia is graduating from high school. I'm very sad. Happy for her, sad for me. She's been with me since the 6th grade, and she got a full ride to George Washington, and she accepted it. And so I have now had 3 graduating seniors in my 16 years here. Israel and Marvin, they graduated right before I got Sophia, so 6 or 7 years ago. They both got full rides to college as well. And so I just think, again, this is a testament to the community at Sitar and why I'm so passionate about being here. I don't know what the high school graduation rate is for the District of Columbia schools, but it's 100% for the students here at Sitar. And I'm not sure, I think it's a 20 to 30% rate for DC students going to college. And I think it's 88% of the students here at Sitar. I'm looking at Maureen, the director, sitting in the audience. So the numbers speak for themselves here. And Sitar's been around since what, 1999, I think? 2000, so 21 years now. And think about that. We already have kids that we've had since kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. Some of them have been here all of those years. Some of them even start in the pre-K, right? Like the little kids, like the toddlers. So they may spend, 16 years of their life here. And then to be able to have something to show for it, like a full ride to GW, I'm so proud of you, sweetheart, and I don't care if you're embarrassed right now. Okay, next, Niall Byrne, Phrygian Steps. This is a movie called Cairo Time. I stumbled on it one night on TV, and I was like, oh, I don't really care about the movie so much, but this music is fantastic. So I immediately looked it up online and I ordered it. I had a friend say to me recently, Beth, do you even realize what you're saying? You can hear something on a TV show or on a movie and be like, I like that, and I can learn that. And I was like, didn't realize that. And I suppose that is true. But my mom said once recently in one of her comments, because my poor parents had to listen to me practicing for all those years, it's just lots of years of practice. And that technique is just in you. It might be a little rusty, but once you practice, you can get it back out. In graduate school, I was practicing 8 to 10 hours a day. Yes, 8 to 10 hours a day. I was sitting at the keyboard. That was a lot of time alone for an extrovert, but it was necessary. And so now I may only get an hour or two at the keyboard a week because, you know, I have a real life. I have a real job that I love. So when I do get to find something, new music online that I do love, I do download it on iTunes or whatever, and then I find it online and I learn it. And so this is one of those pieces. So it's called Phrygian Steps because it's based on the Phrygian mode. What are modes, you ask? Well, in Western music, we have scales. We have the major scales. Before we had scales, we had in Western music and in Eastern music, the modes. And there were 7 modes. And when someone would practice and they would do all the modes, it was called running the gamut. Sound like anything we use today? We don't say gamut anymore, we say gamut. So when someone has done everything, we say, oh, they really ran the gamut on that one. It comes from the Old English, the pre-early history of music, running the gamut of the modes. So this one will have a bit of a Middle Eastern sound to it because that is what the early music, the early Western polyphony sounded like coming from the Eastern music. I think this one is a beautiful piece. It gets pretty going after a while. At one point, you know, sometimes when you're running downhill and all of a sudden you can't stop running and you start tripping over yourself, that's what this piece does to me halfway through. And at some points, my elbows like have to go up at the same time. It's a very weird feeling and it's a very weird mechanic to be in at the same time. So you might see it halfway through if I do it right. But I really like this piece. Again, it's very calming and soothing and fitting with my theme today. So just sit back and relax and close your eyes, and I hope you will enjoy this. I hope you guys liked that one as much as I did. All right, next up. Oh, Dario Marianelli lives on top of the world. Greg, this is for you. It's for Greg, actually, and the ladies, because I have a lot of friends who love this movie, but Greg is one of my oldest and dearest and very best friends, and he's so embarrassed sitting at home right now because he's gonna kill me, but that's okay. Um, Greg has always supported. I don't think he's ever missed a single one of my recitals, and my parents usually make him sit with them, which he likes and they love too. But anyway, I know Greg. Greg is a man of few words, and I know he has said he really likes this piece, and so it makes it meaningful to me that it's meaningful to him. And so, for all of my friends on Facebook who I posted some clips of this, I hope you will enjoy it, especially Kathy Hooper. I have a couple of Kathys. She and I used to watch this movie together. So, Dario Marianelli is a modern Italian composer. I think he's in his 50s now. He's done a number of movies like Eat, Pray, Love, a lot of the English, like historic or period dramas. So I love this book. So this is the Pride and Prejudice. I don't know if you can see that. This is all the music from the soundtrack. There are like 12 pieces in here. I was thinking someday maybe I should just do a concert just of playing this book because it would take an hour and it's beautiful music. So in terms of imagery, this piece is used twice in the movie. It's used about halfway through the movie where Elizabeth Bennet is laying on a cart. They're being pulled, well, a horse and carriage, and the leaves are swirling above her. And so this piece is pretty fast. And like the prior one, that's why I put them together. It almost, after a while on the second page, it starts going so fast, I feel like I'm tumbling down a hill and I can't stop. And I'm just praying I don't screw up. This song then appears again at the end of the film when she and Mr. Darcy finally proclaim their love for one another and get together. Now, I mentioned a little bit about artistry earlier and how I really try to teach technique and artistry to my students. Playing the piano, playing the notes, is only really 20% of playing a piece. The other 80% is how you play them. I think it's the same. People say it's not what you write, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But it's the same thing here. It's not what you play, it's how you play it. So the composer has told us to play this poco rubato, so pretty slowly, delicato, delicately, and with pedal. And then he says cantabile, which kind of means like a nice walking pace. If I were just to play this, I'll do it wrong first, or I'll do it basic first. If I was just to play the notes as written, they'd be like, oh wait, I'm in two flats again, Beth. Flats. Okay, if I played it normally with the pedal, without much artistry, it would be. If I then put in and keep on layering, and I put in some artistry, I'm not going to play those repeated 6 notes the same way. I'm going to push and I'm going to pull. So I'm going to do it like this. I think the third way is better. I hope that you all would agree. And so with that, I'll go ahead and get started. got the piano shaking. Could you guys see that one? So anyway, let me know if you guys would ever like to hear more from this, because I can talk with Maureen and we can see about making that happen. All right, next. Oh, this piece is gonna hurt. Dustin O'Halloran. I've been thinking about my mom, like when I was growing up, you know, wearing heels or whatnot, and she'd be like, "What price beauty, Beth? What price beauty?" Well, that's what it is with this piece. What price art, Beth? What price art? This piece makes me think of my student Nina. I do believe that Nina and her family, the Riccio Holtz family, are tuned in. They've been at all of my recitals for a year, for a decade as well, because I had their students, Nina, and their students, my students, their children, Nina and Allie, from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And Nina is now out of college. I'm feeling old. And Nina learned this piece as well, and I think Allie did too. So Dustin O'Halloran is another modern composer. He's Irish. He composed this in 2004, but I didn't discover it until just a few years ago. This piece mostly takes place up here, up in the right hand, up in the right. And so my left hand is across my body and at a very weird angle. Not a natural angle, but that's just the way it needs to be. And sometimes my students, when they're younger, they like to move their body, like they physically move to be higher or lower on the keyboard. And I'm like, no, no, no. We stay in the middle of the keyboard. We move our hands. We lean forward. We have plenty of weight in our hands and in our body, and we move that. We don't physically slide up or down. Well, because of that, my hand's at a very weird angle for a lot of this piece. So by the end, I'm probably going to be doing this. But I hope you will love this piece. It's simply entitled Opus 28. He doesn't give fancy names to his pieces. hope you all liked that. Belinda, I was thinking you probably liked that piece too. Belinda has been a wonderful supporter of my recital for years as well. All right, next. Oh, I did this smartly. A little bit of a break from my hand. Next is going to be another piece from a movie. My colleague Jacob is listening in today. Jacob has his Doctor of Musical Arts even. So not only does he have a master's in piano performance like me, he went on and got his doctorate. And he's probably going, Beth, how are you playing so much modern music today? Because he and I were both so classically trained. Anyway, I'm thinking of you, Jacob, and I can't wait to hear you play. He has a Steinway in his own house, you guys. He's who I want to be when I grow up. This piece is by the group Arcade Fire, and they scored the movie Her. And actually, I just started practicing this yesterday. And it's because it's called Song on the Beach. And today is my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Papa Hochberg. And he and my mom are at the beach. They drove to visit our good friends, the Montacones, for their first time basically leaving home in a year. And I believe they were going out for a walk on the beach this morning even. So Dad, I just wanted to wish you happy birthday. I hope you've had a wonderful day. And this song will be for you. And it's from a scene in the movie where the lead character, Joaquin Phoenix, is his best friend and basically his girlfriend has become an artificial intelligence, just a voice who is in this device he carries around. And it's some kind of dystopian, future. And so instead of having relationships with people, many people are having relationships with, artificial intelligence. And he's trying to describe to this artificial intelligence what it feels like and looks like and sounds like and feels like to be at the beach. And so she, taking what he has told her, composes this piece and plays it for him about what she thinks a day at the beach, being lazy at the beach would sound like. So I hope you like this. I think it's pretty clear that even though Arcade Fire is a rock band, that they were classically trained. Because I think this sounds so much like Satie, like all of his gymnopedies and his nociens. So if you liked this piece, If somebody who is an enterprising individual wants to put in the chat a link to some of the Sati Nosiens and Gymnopedis, you could hear more like this. But I definitely think it sounds like the beach. And happy birthday, Dad. Next, I have a piece that I don't really know much about. It is from a Brazilian composer, Claudio Santoro. He is really quite famous. He's passed away now, but he was very famous in Brazil in the 20th century. And I learned this piece a few years ago, and it really makes me think of niece number 3, well, number 2 in age, but the third I'll talk about today, Michaela. Her family was in Brazil at a wedding. Her parents were at a wedding in Brazil. And I learned this piece about that time when my parents and I were watching her when she was little. And I just thought it was a very sweet piece. And again, it says to play it lento, which is slow, and cantabile at a slow, nice walking pace. And that's really all the composer tells us to do. And I think, do we need some? Marco's working on sound. I have to really give a shout out, by the way, to Marco and Paige. Paige is working behind the scenes in another room, and she's doing the comments. And Marco is sitting here crouched. His knees must be killing him. He's crouched on the floor under the stage, making sure that the sound levels are good. And when we had that little glitch earlier, the two of them were on it, and they fixed it so quickly. So I just want to make sure I thank Marco and Paige. And so, Michaela, this is for you. And apparently, I was looking this up last night. Paulistana, which is the title of this piece, I think there are 7 Paulistanas that he wrote. Paulistana basically just is Portuguese for from Sao Paulo. So he must have written it in Sao Paulo, I do think. Okay, we have 2 pieces left, everyone. And next we have some Star Wars. So most everything today I've been playing has been relaxing, but this one will be a little bit awake. A little bit of awake. And I don't want my nephew Graham to think he is left out in any way. Buddy, this piece is for you. I know how much you like Star Wars. We play a lot of video games when I visit Graham. We have a lot of fun, and we play like Star Wars Battlefront and all kinds of stuff, and he's so good, and I'm awful, and he puts up with me, and it's fun. So, buddy, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon so we can play some Star Wars video games. In the meantime, this is a piano reduction. John Williams, he is still composing and still around and kicking. So he composed all of the Star Wars films in the 70s, and then he also composed all the movies for the new trilogy. This was from episode 7, The Force Awakens. It is when we first meet the female heroine Rey when she is out in the desert, and we first meet her little sidekick BB-8. I love BB-8. And so you will hear various themes in here. It starts out with, and that It's the little BB-8 theme that when BB-8 is going through the desert sand. And then this piece does get loud at some times. And it's a completely different key. Yet again, it's sharps. I've been playing flats for the last half hour. So now everything I have to look at, I have to remember to go up instead of going down. So that's what's going to be going on in my brain. And then you should hear a bunch of different famous Star Wars themes. You should hear the Darth Vader theme, the Emperor theme, the Luke Skywalker theme, the Han Solo and Leia love theme. It's all in here in this piano reduction. And the only notes that John Williams gives us is forte, which means loud. Well, Mr. Williams, I can't play all 3 pages loud because that's going to get pretty boring. But it's because this piece is usually played at the Hollywood Bowl with the LA Philharmonic or with an orchestra. So of course the piano has to be loud in order to be heard over 100 people in the orchestra. So I can see why his notes are to play loud. But since it's just me playing on stage, I have tried to insert places where I'm quiet as well as loud so that the loud parts stand out. So Graham, I hope you will like this. And also, William, treat. I know how much you love Star Wars, as does your family, and I hope you will like this too. And Aiden, I think maybe you're listening in too with your mom, Jenny. I know how much you love Star Wars, and I know we've talked about The Mandalorian a lot. So I hope you will like this too. See, sometimes she does play loud. Not always just quiet, but today's theme was quiet. But I just love this piece, and I hope you guys did too. And so now we have one final piece. I have 2 final people left to thank, and that's Betty and Jeff. And they are sitting right here. My only audience members, aside from Marco and Maureen. Betty and Jeff love jazz. And they very often pretty much just live in New Orleans every April for the Jazz Fest. They love jazz so much. So I am playing Bill Evans' Letter to Evan for them, as thanking them for being here today. This piece does a number on my hands again. This time it's my right hand playing really big chords down here. So earlier I was playing that piece where my left hand was at a weird angle up high. Now my right hand is at a weird angle down low. And so Bill Evans wrote this in 1979 for his son, Evan. Yes, his son's name is Evan Evans. Really is his name. He's a composer today. He's my age. He was turning 4 in 1979. And in the research I found, this album came out just 2 months before Bill Evans died, sadly. And so it was one of his last big performances and last major live recordings. So it says, for my son Evan on his 4th birthday. And it's called Letter to Evan. It has some really big, meaty chords. Some of them may sound like they're wrong. They just have a dissonance in them that is then resolved in the next chord. And so I really like it. Again, I have small hands. I can hit an octave, 8 notes pretty easily. I'll come down lower. I can hit a 9th if I stretch, a 10th if I really stretch. And I'm doing lots of 9ths in this piece with things in between. But that's how it creates the rich sound. I love Bill Evans. I think he's the best jazz pianist of all time. Others may disagree, but he's definitely my favorite. So if you like this piece, please check out, and Bill Evans is new to you, please look online and find other albums with Bill Evans. And he is, by the way, the pianist on Kind of Blue, which is the best jazz album of all time. He played with Miles Davis for years. So you may recognize this sound if you like Kind of Blue. And with that, we're done. I haven't really been able to see your comments. I think my phone's been going crazy. So I didn't know if anyone had any questions. Sophia was going to, Sophia said she's not embarrassed at all. Haha, just honored. Thank you, Sophia. I mean, I did have her permission to say all that beforehand, but I still didn't know. And I had Greg's permission too to call him out. So I'm just looking to see if anyone has any questions that they wanted to ask, or I don't know if anybody wants to hear something again. This was recorded, and so it is my understanding that you guys can see this again later if you would like. And by all means, you guys please do reach out to me, Facebook message, texting, emailing me, however you want to get in touch with me if you would like to do more of these. I would like to continue trying to do more things to benefit Sitar with Maureen's with Maureen's approval. Marco worked really hard getting the lighting figured out for today, getting all of the technology. He has been working so hard on the microphones and everything. But I think, Marco, I think we've pretty much got it figured out now. So he's giving me a thumbs up. And again, Marco, I wanted to thank you. So hopefully, if we did this again, it would be a little bit easier because we've got the big stuff figured out. So let me know if that is something you guys would like in the future and what you would like to hear. And as long as it's okay with Sitar and we can work with their calendar and follow all the COVID guidelines, we can keep doing more of these and keep raising more money for a great place. And Maureen has waved, the center director. So Maureen, did you want to come up and say anything to the camera before we go?
Or to you, if I may.
Oh, well, thanks. And I know people are writing, I just can't see a word, so I'll have to look at the comments later. I'll get out of the way for Maureen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maureen Dwyer, the Executive Director here at Sitar Arts Center, and I didn't prepare anything to say, but I just have to express tremendous gratitude to Beth. I found myself in tears because I'm realizing this is the first live music I have heard in 14 months, Beth, and I'm all vaccinated.
I'm
so
fully
we're
vaccinated
safe.
too. Go Pfizer.
Go Pfizer. And maybe Pfizer will donate to Sitar. We just give them a big shout out. But not only is she a beautiful musician, she talked so lovingly about her students, and at Sitar, the relationships are what create the outcomes. The arts are the means for students discovering who they are and their purpose, whether it's as an artist or someone who always keeps art in their life. But it is the faculty and mentors, and Beth does this out of nothing but love. She does not receive a dime for her time at Sitar. She does it to fill her spirit and share what shaped her life. And in turn, she has made transformational impact on many lives here. So just want to express my gratitude. Couldn't think of a better first live performance. I invite you all, when it allows, to come visit Sitar in person, see our amazing young artists and our amazing faculty, and experience the beauty and the magic of our community. So thank you. Thank you, Beth. Love you.